Hello, this is Mr. Wrighthouse, and this is Unit 2 of your journalism course. The last unit was all about the history of journalism in America. Now we're going to take a look at how technology has changed journalism and what the differences are in what we consider old and new media. So, our objectives in this unit are going to be how each genre of journalism changes how it delivers the news and how the focuses change. We're going to define what new media is and how the internet at large and new media have changed journalism. As you may have guessed after Unit 1, newspapers are becoming less and less popular. My parents, in fact, die-hard newspaper readers, don't get it anymore. Delivery avenues, the sizes of the newspaper keep shrinking. We get our news now through a variety of sources. Social media makes the news shareable, interactive, participatory, and easily digested for our shorter attention spans. Social media goes hand in hand with online news, which is omnipresent. It's everywhere. And because it's not based in any one location, it can be updated constantly and instantly. Podcasts are kind of the audio version of this downloadable, portable, instantly updatable audio news delivery. And the older version of podcasting, the radio. Some of us still have sort of a nostalgia for listening to the radio as kids. This is from a Pew Research Center report from September of 2024. As you can see, overwhelmingly, folks get their news from digital services, then TV, then radio, then print. Podcasting would be included in that digital devices total along with mobile versions of websites and, of course, apps. That being said, print journalism is still where we kind of picture what we think of as journalism. In 1440, Johann Gutenberg developed the movable type printing press, which meant that the person doing the printing could move around the letters and words wherever they needed them to go. About 400 years later, in 1810, Frederick Koenig added a steam engine, which made mass production of newspapers possible. Newspapers thrive on things called news services and syndicates. Both of these are umbrella terms for companies that are full of teams of journalists who cover things that not all journalists can be present for. Big national or international stories can have coverage in every paper and publication in the world. Newspapers pay for the service, and the service in turn gives them the articles they can print if they want. Some of the benefits of print journalism: it's local, often based and reported in the places where it's printed and read. It's the most news for the lowest price, at least until the internet came along and made a lot of these things free. It's the most impartial, meaning that most print doesn't pick a side of any story and tries to keep things as neutral as possible. And because of all of these things added together, newspapers are still a fantastic source of what we call watchdog journalism. This is calling truth to power, fact checking, and increasing accountability to the establishment and systems. We also often call it investigative journalism. Newspapers have a vital place in history as well. Even if they've fallen out of popularity now, history is riddled with moments when newspapers didn't just chronicle important events, but were part of their ignition. One notable example is abolitionist Frederick Douglass. Douglass was able to spread the word of abolition and to turn public opinion of it in his favor through free newspapers that were handed out all around the states before and during the Civil War. Now, certain jobs that you can have in a newspaper. You can be a reporter reporting the news, or the editor who sends out the reporters to the stories and chooses what stories go in the paper where. Photographers take the photographs, and layout artists take the ads, articles, and everything else the paper includes and lays it out so all of the space in the paper is utilized. Printers oversee the printing process. Ad salespeople make sure all those advertisements in the paper help offset the costs of printing it. Accountants and admin assistants, well, doesn't everybody need those? Copy editors are the ones who go in actually and edit the words of the reporters. They take the article, they go over it with a careful eye, check facts and errors, rewrite things that could be more succinctly written, and make sure that the article is the best it needs to be. There are several sections of the paper. There's the news section, which includes what we consider the front page. Then the local section, it might be called the metro section if you're in a bigger city. Business and sports are relatively self-explanatory. The op-ed section is short for opinions and editorials. This is the section where things are opinion-based, either from reporters on staff at the paper or people in the community. As I'm recording this in December of 2024, a popular news story at the moment is the killing of CEO of an insurance megagiant, United Healthcare. One of the current people in charge of United, in the wake of the killing and tremendous negative public opinion when it comes to the healthcare industry, recently wrote an opinion piece in the New York Times admitting that the system is broken. So that's where things that aren't entirely factual but still important reside. Finally, there's the features desk, the desk I used to work on when I worked at the newspaper. This is where film reviews, human interest stories, and anything that is what we would call softer news lives. It's stories that aren't super important, but are still interesting. Magazines are another way that people get their news. Just like newspapers, though, they're declining in circulation, some of them. The benefit of magazines is there are a bunch of stories from all of those categories that I mentioned earlier in one package that's usually bigger and more complete than the newspaper. Magazines are sometimes weekly, monthly, or quarterly, but they'll always have some kind of market they're covering, a niche topic, whether it's cooking, celebrity gossip, specific hobbies, sports, or more. Some of the most iconic magazine moments in history came from the Saturday Evening Post, which is still in publication today. It included news, fictional stories, and more, but truly standing out from the crowd was its artwork done by Norman Rockwell, done specifically for the Post, that truly seemed to capture little snapshots of otherwise unremarkable American life. The magazine and that art became part of American life and have endured ever since. This second unit covers broadcast journalism again, but since we covered it extensively in Unit 1, I'm going to leave it to you to fill in any gaps or review that you may need to make. So that's it for Unit 2. I hope you enjoyed this look at media through the ages and all the different types of news and media that we have. Your assignments for Unit 2 include critical thinking questions, an activity where you're going to take one piece of media, a piece from one type of media, and adapt it into another type of media. And as always, a quiz. Come back for our third unit, which is all about press law and journalistic ethics. Be well, good luck, and reach out for help if you need it.